That's right. Wake up. Wake up, everybody. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to all of the loyal listeners of the Street 919 FM. You are tuned into Cooking with Dominic Romaine. And yes, I'm back in studio. I'm back in the country. And so as I indicated on Thursday, I would be here today. So good rainy Sunday morning to all of you who are just joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and on traditional radio. Good morning to all of you, to Mr. and Mrs. Readers. Good morning to Mr. and Mrs. Giuseppe, Mr. and Mrs. Primus. Good morning. Morning, Angie. Mother Tunapuna. Good morning to Davia Andrews, Nicole Caesar, Patsy Edwards. Good morning to all of you, to all of the Allisons, Allison Rojas, Allison Samuel, Allison Haynes. Good morning to you guys. Mano, morning. Brian, good morning. Tallman, good morning. All of the folks who have gone out to cast your ballots in the PNM's internal election, and those of you who plan to do so on this rather rainy Sunday, if you haven't already gone out and you're still minded to do so, please take your time on the road because it's extremely wet. Just coming down the highway just now, this weather is really, really terrible. Real terrible. I mean, I haven't cast my ballot as yet, but I plan to do so when I leave here on my way home. So far I've been getting reports about persons who have gone out to cast their ballot, albeit in some areas I'm hearing that the turnout has been low again because of the challenges with the weather. So let me say good morning to Leon Joseph, to Gavin Harrison, Gail Lawrence, Kendall Gonzalez, Carol Myers, those folks who have joined us on the YouTube platform. Right, let me see if I can get what I'm looking for here. Right, I'm going to pull up this here. To Celeste Allen, good morning. Good morning to all of you guys. It's good to be back. With the rainy weather though, but that's all right. There was a lot of rain where I was as well. So, can't escape it. We are in the wet season, and this is to be expected, albeit I'm seeing, videos, photos of serious damage, infrastructural damage taking place all over the country. So, cause for concern. Definitely the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure have a lot of works and transport, have a lot of work to do. A lot of money to spend to fix this problem. Where is this thing? Why am I not finding this? Right. You see what is there. Laverne Brown, good morning. Thank you, Kendall, for your vote of support. Good morning to Diona Ryan Ramtahal. Good morning to you. Gosh. Let me see here. And good morning to Mr. Chance as well. All right, yes, now, folks, I'm going to see. I'm trying to pull up something to play here. And all right, let me come out of this and start over. Just give me 1 second, people. 1 second. I suspect the reason why this is giving me problems is because what I want to play, the idiot, anyway. So I want to play something this morning for you, right? And just have a brief discussion on it. I don't usually like to play this individual, right? The man I call the dog liar. But sometimes you have to address some of the things, and I said this is the important role of the social media officer. Contrary to popular belief and what have been the utterances I've heard from some of my competitors, one in particular who will remain nameless. Social media officer, the work of the social media officer is not simply about publishing the good work of the PNM, because that does precious little to debunk the lies, the misinformation, disinformation that is being published by the UNC and other political parties. And if you only want to post on the PNM, pave a road, or they build houses or something like that, that's all well and good. It has its place. But it does precious little for those persons who feel aggrieved to the party for one reason or another, and therefore they don't want to see and hear about that. Right? So you need to address the issues that has them agree with some of the lies that is being put out there that needs to be debunked, because if it is the people are seeing and hearing this and it's not being addressed, then what you expect? They don't want to hear or see anything else. Where is this thing? No. Where is this thing? Okay, I'm seeing countdown coming up and I have no idea what that is about. Just bear with me for 1 second, folks. I'm trying to find this thing here because I need to play this and I'm not seeing it. No. Okay, just now. Right, this is what I want. Okay, let me just pull this back a bit. So I'm just going to play a short clip from the Doglaya, right? It's important for me to play this and then address the misinformation that the individual loves to spread. Every time this topic of the live sport comes up, he likes to make these false claims that the court threw out the matter and the court declared the live sport audit that it was fraudulent and all of that. So I wanna address that in a fulsome way this morning. Now, as I said, I'm seeing a countdown coming on. I have no idea what that is about, but we will treat with it as it comes up. So let me go straight into this one time. All right?
Minister is not part and parcel of any litigation whatsoever, whether it's public servants or sport company board members and so on, because Anil Roberts created the idea of live sport, but Anil Roberts also understands the policy and procedure for implementation. And there was a board of sport company which was in charge. There was a permanent secretary and of public officials at the Ministry of Sport. Live sport also had its own board and its own organizational structure, all hired through the public service procedures, open invitation, qualification, HR, implementation. The minister does not get involved. So when Rowley and all the PNM try to talk politics and say corruption and all of that nonsense to stop a program that was helping young black boys who were actively involved in crime, criminality and so on, put down the weapons, get involved, get educated, identify their talent, get guidance counselors, social workers, put money in their pockets so they could feed themselves, give them food, 10 meals per week and so on. Rowley went out and an attack on live sport. Well, he also put small pin to waste your taxpayers' money to go and spend money to go after the directors of live sport, the sport company board and so on. The UNC went after it. A High Court judge on Wednesday struck out negligence claims against former directors of the sport company, Sport TT, and its then chief executive arising from the failed live sport program. And I like how the news, they have to put failed. It only failed because of the lies of the PNM and the PNM Central Audit Committee and the lies of the audit in order to not put resources down to poor black people. That's what the PNM is about. And then you all tell black people to vote for PNM and you don't end up on the golf course. You don't end up in the recusals. You end up unemployed, busting your tire in pothole and in swimming down the road in flood and dodging bullet. That's where black people end up under the PNM. However, the 14 former directors and the then chief executive officer will still have to answer to the company's breach of fiduciary duty. So they struck out most of this stuff. But you know what they left? They left the breach of fiduciary duty that Small Pin is saying the board did not do their due diligence and so on. The board didn't ask for no indemnity and so on. But let me remind you all of what this fool is wasting your taxpayers' money on. There was an E-Beam Interact contract for 34 million, a contract, a paper signed, sealed and delivered. The board was having an issue with the person to implement the program. He wanted to go slow and the board wanted him to go fast. It was a contractual arrangement, a contractual fight, a toing and froing. The board members, the directors were trying to get value for money, and there's a whole paper trail of evidence. This fool and the Central Bank Financial Audit Committee who breached due process, and that was thrown out and quashed way back in 2017, did not come to the public officials, the board, the CEO, the permanent secretary, the Ministry of Sport, public servants. They didn't come and say, hey, this is our findings here, what say you? So they could present them with more documentation. And they came through with some conclusions that were totally fallacious. The main one being that was spewed by this fool and Rowley and the PNM was that a man get $34 million for nothing. Well, that's the last part that's going to continue to the court. Now, the Central Audit said, and I quote, that E-Beam Interact Limited was paid. Let me quote, this is my letter, remember? Because under Kamala, when you have any allegations, even though her minister was not involved, not in the 59 pages, name never mentioned, family never mentioned, no recusal, no benefit, not $1 for the minister Anil Roberts. Kamala Prasad Bisesa told you the people that ministers who have allegations must go and clear their names, clear whatever and come back. So I resigned, and remember, I didn't only resign as a minister, I resigned my seat too. This is a letter to the Speaker of the House at the time. You see, y'all don't remember? Because under Kamala Prasad Bisesa, ministers and MPs move with class in the best tenets of Westminster. So if I had to resign my position to so-called clear my name, I had to resign also from being a member of parliament. Didn't hold on to draw us a salary and draw us a pay and sit down there. I came out quietly. And now you see that the truth, while it travels slowly, it has certainly come. But let me just read for you a little bit. Now this was a detailed letter detailing all the lies to the Speaker as I resigned my seat that I was duly elected to stay upon, and nobody could have removed me. I removed myself. It says here in the third paragraph, consideration has to be given, Honorable Speaker, to whether there was, this is what they said, in the report, the audit report concluded that there was complicity by officers of the ministry. For example, the entire payment of $34 million to E-Beam Interact Limited was made notwithstanding that external attorneys advised that they may have grounds to contest and resist the final payment. That was the conclusion, the false conclusion of this Ministry of Finance Central Audit Committee. It basically said that these directors of the sport company paid the contractor despite legal advice to the contrary, which meant that these directors, whose case, how they now beating this one and Irawi and now Limo again, that those directors were told by lawyers, do not pay. And they took a decision to pay. And all of you believe that nonsense as spewed by the PNM. But the truth is, and right here is the advice from the internal lawyer, Lisa Solomon, which recommends and says that the board is obligated to pay based on the contract, even though the board was trying to withhold payment because the man was not delivering and there was a toing and froing, and he's saying that they need to do something and they're saying he need to perform, and it's letter after letter. In other words, you all, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, go lost the whole case and have to pay, okay, after 8 years, 10 years, however long, all right, because of these PNM fools, just like all the other cases that they lost. But the board was so responsible. The board went and said, even though the internal lawyer said, hey, the contract, my contract, you gotta pay, them went out to an external legal, they don't pay. This is my resignation letter, as I tell you, 4th August 2014. And I said that they put all of this information on the final report. The advice, the media don't want to print the truth. When the PNM likes to lie, when the country has to go through 7 years of torture of the PNM because of lies, the truth was always there. Company dated Monday, 17 February. It's the following, and I quote, reference is made to our telephone conference today between your Lisa Solomon, John Mollantire, our Dennis Gurley, the undersigned, and your good self. We write to confirm that we advised you that as previously set out in our letter dated 17 January 2014, Sport TT is legally obligated under the contract to issue the remaining balance of 17 million to E-Beam. And it goes on and on and on. And all the directors and the CEO and all of them have all of this factual information. But you know what you, the people, have? You have people like this small pin flipping idiot. You have people like...
Right, so I think I played enough there for you to get the gist of what I'm talking about. So he did a lot of reading there, right? I didn't play the whole thing for you, and I was minded to run through some of the things that he was saying there. But there were some things that he didn't say. Now, never mind the fact that everything that he said there was a total misrepresentation and basic lies as he's accustomed doing, because the man is a consummate, inveterate liar. That is what Anil Roberts is. He cannot help himself. From the time he wakes up in the morning, he's probably lied to himself until, so it's 6 o'clock, he see on the watch and he telling himself it's 5, so he could go back and sleep for an extra hour. So he lies to himself from the time he wakes up until the time he goes to bed. He can't help himself. That is who he is, unfortunately. Right? Let me read something for you that he didn't mention. Something that he never talks about. This is an Express article by Asha Javid. It was Anil, that was the title of the article. Finance Minister Larry Hawaii says it was Sports Minister Anil Roberts who brought Adolphus Daniel, the educator who was paid $34 million from the Life Sport program for no work, to his ministry. Let me read that again for you. Finance Minister Larry Hawaii, the man who the PP paid $11 million to become Minister of Finance, says it was Sports Minister Anil Roberts who brought Adolphus Daniel, the educator who was paid $34 million from the Life Sport program for no work, to his ministry. Mr. Daniel, I'm quoting Mr. Hawaii here. Mr. Daniel was brought by Minister Roberts and officers of the Ministry of Sport to meet with the Ministry of Finance to demonstrate how the program would work. After the demonstration, nothing further was heard about the initiative, as far as I am aware, said Hawaii in an email response to questions from the Express. The minister was responding to questions on why Daniel was solely selected. Solely selected. So he had no tender. They didn't put out no tender, but now today they want to talk about procurement. And we're all about procurement, and we are the best defenders of procurement, and we won the procurement legislation. But they didn't know about procurement when it dealt with this man who they gave $34 million of your taxpayers' dollars. So let me continue. The minister was responding to questions on why Daniel was solely selected for the project and whether Daniel's $34 million contract was sent to cabinet for approval given the quantum of it. This particular contract, and this is how I'm speaking here, was approved by the sport company, Sport TT, not by the ministry. State enterprises can and do enter into contracts without cabinet approval. As far as I can recall, cabinet would not have been aware of this contract at the time that it was approved. The Ministry of Sport proceeded with it through the sport company rather than through the Ministry of Sport itself. So the Ministry of Sport, of which Anil Roberts was in charge, according to Hawaii, proceeded with this contract to the sport company rather than through the Ministry of Sport itself. The audit commissioned by Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa into Life Sport and had revealed that Daniel's company, eBeam Interact, was paid $34 million, but no work was ever executed. And you're listening to this clown, this fool, trying to defend $34 million of your taxpayers' money paid to one man. You even get so much as a paperclip, a stick, a chalk, or a duster from that. And he trying to defend that foolishness to say, well, the minister didn't decide. Well, he never told us. And seemingly he conveniently forgets that he was the one who took Mr. Daniel to the Ministry of Finance. Don't talk about that, right? We continue. The audit noted, it is obvious that Sport TT was party to this contract mainly because the contract was above the authorized limit of the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Sport, which Mr. Roberts would have fully well have known. So the ministry, his PS at the time, could not approve anything over $1 million. So you know what? Let me do it through the sports company now. Yeah. How he find Adolphus Daniel? He just showed up at your office one day and said, look, I have a plan here. What do you think? Read it. Let me present it to you. It's song and good. Let me go by Larry Hawaii and see if I could get $34 million fair. $34 million of the best taxpayers' dollars. It is evident that the mind and management of this contract has always been and continues to be, and this is Larry Hawaii speaking here, the Ministry of Sport. Right, where it's just now. Right. The contract was drafted by the Ministry of Sport Legal, and all the conditions necessary to satisfy the readiness of centers for the start of the numeracy and learning component were always the responsibility of the Ministry of Sport. This is Larry Hawaii speaking here. So when it is that you have this inveterate liar come in to tell you that the minister and the ministry didn't have nothing to do and it was Sport TT. The Minister of Finance is telling you that all of the arrangements, the contract was drawn up not by Sport TT, not by the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago, by the Ministry of Sport, which he led, by the legal department and the Ministry of Sport. They drew it up, not Sport TT. But he coming now to try and put all the blame on the Sport Company and the minister, and I had nothing to do with it, and my name wasn't mentioned. All right. In an interview with the Sunday Express, Daniel said he would not return the 34 million he earned from the program because he did not default on his part of the contractual arrangement. Rather, it was the Sport Company that defaulted on its end of the arrangement because it did not provide the necessary infrastructure, which was part of its contract with him. I continue. Why this thing keep doing me that this morning? Daniel said there was never any complaint by the Sport Company that the work he was contracted to do was never implemented. In a telephone interview yesterday, Daniel pointed out that the audit had echoed his sentiments that the centers were not in a state of readiness. Daniel quoted from the audit which stated, Central Audit noted that most of the centers visited were not in a state of readiness to accommodate the NNLC. To name a few, Covine Road, Four Roads, Cocorite, Bagatelle, River Estate, St. Paul Street, Mova, Barataria, Carapo, Pinto Road, Malabar, Train Line 1 and 2, etc. Furthermore, a number of participants have indicated their interest in pursuing vocational training instead of learning mathematics and English. These factors, together with the significant reduction in attendance, may have further reduced the number of participants interested in the NNLC of the program. E-Beam was paid 2 tranches of 17 million each. The first tranche represented 50% of the fee on September 2nd, 2013, and the second payment was done in February 11, 2014. Daniel claimed that it was because of him that the program was not shut down in 2013, and he had worked for the life sport program for free. Daniel said Hawaii could attest to this because of his meeting with him. And when the question was put to Hawaii, he said his only interaction with Daniel was in the meeting that Anil Roberts had requested. Let me read that again for you. When the question was put to Hawaii, he said his only interaction with Daniel was in the meeting that Anil Roberts requested. But you all over the place, oh, his name ain't mentioned in nothing and he had no involvement. But he was the man, according to Larry Hawaii, that brought Adolphus Daniel to the Ministry of Finance to pitch the program to the Minister of Finance for 34 million of the best taxpayers' dollars. I continue. Asked to respond to the statement that the audit was sloppy made by Live Sport Program Director Cornelius Price in a Sunday Guardian article, Hawaii responded, I am not aware of the context in which the allegation that the audit was sloppy is being made, but all of the supporting documentation is available to support the various statements that were made in the audit. I'm continuing here. This is Larry Hawaii. I expect that a lot of allegations will be made by various persons associated with the program in a direct or indirect attempt to try to prove their innocence, or even to drag as many persons through the mud with them as possible. But the Ministry of Finance and the Economy stands by the results of the audit and the professionalism of the senior officers of the ministry and its overall position in this matter. So what Larry Hawaii is telling us here back in 2014, 2015 stands contrary to what this clown just told you all, what you all just heard from this inveterate liar. But you see, there is need for us to scout social media and to come across these things and to deal with it in a frontal manner. Because you have people listening to this trash and taking it as gospel. And when you don't have people responding to it in a proper manner with the facts, people are going to run away with that and say, but look, you're in here and he'll say so and so. Well, that is the work of the social media officer. So I just throwing that out there for persons, certain competitors who feel they need every opportunity they get to be maligning my name in their mouth, because apparently they love how my name tastes. Yeah? So every chance they get, every interview that they do, they seem to have the need to pelt big stones in my way. Well, that's all right. You continue. If that's how you think you need to run your campaign, well, you feel free. Last Friday, Prime Minister Prasad Bisesa laid the audit in Parliament and said she had forwarded a copy of it to the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Commissioner of Police, the Integrity Commission, and Head of the Public Service. The audit revealed that the program has been riddled with financial irregularities. This is Skamla speaking here. Had coordinators with criminal backgrounds, massive fraud, millions misspent, ghost centers, ghost participants, improper procurement, and theft were some of the findings. And while millions were lost in padded invoices from contractors, Daniel's 34 million payment was the single biggest payment of the program for no work. And Sport TT is currently awaiting legal advice from Senior State Counsel Russell Martino on a way forward or what actions, if any, can be taken against E-Beam. The Express tried unsuccessfully yesterday to reach Roberts for comment by telephone calls and text to his cell phone. Right? So let me give you something else here. So he was the man. Went wherever he find Adolphus Daniel, may know that he partner of long standing, however it is, but sole tender, sole select, right? It had no, they didn't put nothing out for no tender to say, well, let us invite a number of persons who could teach math and English to make a presentation, a proposition. No, nothing of the sort. All of a sudden, this man Adolphus Daniel just pop out of nowhere. And Anil Roberts, based on what we just heard Larry Howai say, took him to the Ministry of Finance, had a meeting, nothing heard after that, and then the next thing you know, contract, $34 million gone. And this clown want to try and defend that foolishness. Let me pull this up here. Where is it? Unless some of you would have forgotten. Right. Let me get this here. Because he seems to forget that it was his political leader, then Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, was the one who read out the live sport the audit in the parliament. And she was so convinced of the findings of that report. You remember she shut down the live sport program with immediate effect. With immediate effect. And he was sitting right behind her and he rocked back so, and his face looking like, pour me one. You know what to do. And he listening to her read out the contents and he just there. Didn't get up to defend himself. And when she shut down the program, she said, but don't worry, to the individuals, you know, the young black men, the at-risk youth, for whom this program was intended, that we will come up with something else to provide for them. And for the rest of the time from 2014 until they lost the election in 2015, they did absolutely nothing. There was no replacement program. Nothing for the at-risk youth who they're so concerned about. But she promised, don't worry, we'll take care of all you. Yeah? But all you like to say, oh, the PNM's promises never materialize. Let me see if I get this thing here in a few minutes before we go to the ads. Right. Listen to the professor. Listen to Mrs. Persad-Bissessar, the misleader of the opposition as Prime Minister. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. In May of this year, 2014, a newspaper publication brought to light allegations of wrongdoing and misuse of resources in the live sport program. Based on the very real possibility of there being irregularities, I immediately instructed that the program be transferred to the Ministry of National Security and that the Ministry of Finance and the Economy, through its Central Audit Committee, conduct a full audit. A thorough, this is Kamla Persad-Bissessar speaking here, a thorough and focused audit has now been completed. Thorough, right? There was no fly-by-night audit as this clown trying to present. According to his political leader, a thorough and focused audit has now been completed, and I have received same from the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Economy. This is a copy of that report. Because this program was intended to positively impact some of our most vulnerable younger citizens, I believe it is appropriate that the report of the Central Audit Unit on the live sport program be made public by being tabled here in this House of Representatives. She goes on to give a brief history of the program. The review, as contained in the report, has revealed a number of discrepancies which include the following: procurement breaches, a deviation from the mandates of cabinet, the involvement of some persons in criminal activities, fraud by suppliers, theft of equipment, breaches of the Proceeds of the Crime Act, and poor control and monitoring by officers of the ministry. Which ministry? The Ministry of Sport. The Audit Committee has also raised questions regarding possible complicity by officers of the ministry, given the widespread nature of the breaches. Madam Deputy Speaker, what was shocking and disappointing is the fact that given the usually stringent nature of the bureaucratic processes in obtaining approvals for projects, implementing programs and monitoring progress, no action was taken to halt or prevent what the Audit Committee found. The program was conceptualized and formulated as part of a comprehensive program to try to roll back the tide against criminals and criminality in our country. And it was specifically focused on saving the lives of young men who needed to be protected from the criminals, who routinely preyed on them and helping to shape positive futures for these young people. The criminals see them as pawns and persons who confront crime and violence. And to the right, she goes on to say, for those who really sought to improve their lives and positively benefit from this program, I am sorry that this had to happen. You're sorry what had to happen. The things that Anil Roberts wanted to tell us now was just lies and machinations of the PNM, that it was Keith Rowley and Stuart Young, Smallpin as he liked to call him, and Faris Al-Rawi, who was just lying on the UNC and lying on the People's Partnership and who lied on the program. And all of these things that you just read out there was lies. Why are you apologizing to these young people? What you apologizing for? If as this man who is now your main mouthpiece coming to tell the population that everything in the live sport program and all the allegations and claims of falsehood, make believe, right? Made up things by Keith Rowley and the PNM, lies as he just told you all there. Then why is she apologizing? I continue. I must express my personal and deep disappointment and dismay that a program that was intended to save lives, to build lives, was used by a group of people for fraud and personal gain. This group of people who derailed the good intentions of the program has in effect given their support to criminality in some cases rather than to our young people. She goes on to say, I am sorry that this has to happen. However, I say we should not totally despair. Because of the actions of a few, this program will have to be halted. But through other working programs, we will reach out to our most vulnerable and we will help you and we will provide opportunities you need to build your lives. No such opportunities were presented. Further, I have accepted the recommendations of the Audit Committee, and in that regard, I have instructed the Honorable Attorney General to turn the report over to the DPP, the Commissioner of Police, to investigate, detain, and prosecute those guilty to the fullest extent of the law. And given the fact that the Central Audit Committee has raised the possibility of complicity by ministry officials, I wonder who she was talking about, I am instructed that the report be sent to the Integrity Commission and the head of the Public Service for further investigation, consideration, and action where necessary. Yeah, that was the then Prime Minister. Now we know which officials of the ministry fall under the integrity in public life, right? All they big and have sense. All they big and have sense. So you know which, albeit that she didn't specifically identify which officials. Pick sense out of nonsense. Now let me give you all some of the specifics in terms of expenditure. Because after Mrs. Prasad Bisesa said her piece, Mr. Warner would have gotten up and read from several documents provided to him by one Ruth Marchand, who was a senior coordinator with the live sport program. The same Ruth Marchand who had to migrate out of concerns for her life and whose bodyguard was subsequently murdered, right? Let me remind you all of some of the expenditure. So Mr. Warner got up and he started to read. The same life sports program, and I'm quoting Mr. Warner here, reading from Hansard. For conferences and seminars in 2013, they spent $18,000. 2014, with 4 months to go, they spent $299,000. He goes on. 2013, on technology and videotaping, they spent $51,600. That's 2013. In 2014, however, with 4 months to go, the same expenditure, the same item, technology and videotaping, that in 2013 cost $51,600. In 2014, 1 year later, and 4 months to go to the end of the program, cost $8.4 million. $8.4 million. From $51,600, it went to $8.4 million. Another company, Quantum Possibilities Limited, they had to supervise the live sport program per year. They are paid $250,000, no tax, no VAT. Signed and approved, and the list goes on. Mr. Warner continues. I'll give you some more here. Some friends and family of officials of the live sport program and senior government officials went away with millions. I have the records. I have the accounts. Let me take one company, for example, a company called Axios Advertising Company. Let me deal with that one. Let me show you what happens. Members of Axios Advertising Consultants Limited is a company owned by Michael Kerr, also known or otherwise known as Mikey K. And you all may be familiar with that name from the Underground Report. He's still there. Listen good, you ain't hear nothing yet. As Mikey K, this company had a letterhead saying 142 Monroe Road, Canopia, as its headquarters. And the company had its address as 44 2nd Street, San Juan. For 3 months, they paid this company $92,000 a month. They paid Mikey K, who is an announcer at the government radio station GISL. They paid Mikey K who have CPEP contracts. They paid Mikey K, whose wife also has CPEP contracts. They paid Mikey K, whose girlfriend has CPEP contracts. This is Mr. Warner speaking on Hansard here. And they paid Mikey K, on top of all of that, $92,000 a month. I wonder if that is why the man from the PEP, the man who wanted to be the next prime minister, when he came up with a program called Equal Time, where he wanted to sanitize disgraced government ministers, and he wanted to have that program on then CNMG. Yes? And he wanted to be paid $92,000 a month as well. This is around the same live sport time, $92,000 a month. Leaked emails between himself and Mr. Munilal. That was the token figure at the time, $92,000 to spread government propaganda. Separate and apart from $50 million that they spend voices your government working for you. Mr. Warner goes on. He said, for 3 months taxpayers' money, I could say outside on any platform here, Mikey K got this money to produce public education materials for distribution via the media. $10,500 to develop and edit materials. $15,500 to conduct talk shows pertaining to live sport. $14,500 to produce reports on feedback from the public and stakeholders regarding live sport. $14,000 to visit live sport centers and identify and report on positive developments. Well, I see that the ads coming up. I'll continue on the other side. Stay locked.
Let's go pay some bills on the street. 919 FM.
This Christmas, let your bucket overflow with a festive feast from KFC.
A festive feast this Christmas at KFC. A festive feast, fill your belly till you're merry. 9 piece of chicken, fine regular size, for $1.45. KFC so nice. KFC festive feast is the way to go. This Christmas KFC make your bucket overflow.
Get a festive feast bucket with 9 pieces of chicken and 5 regular sides for $145, only from KFC.
Scotiabank Magna MasterCard is back with its special Christmas giveaway. Just swipe for more rewards. Every time you swipe your card, get instantly entered for a chance to win 1,500 points on your Scotiabank Magna MasterCard. Get more this Christmas. More points, more rewards, more money. Swipe for more rewards today with your Scotiabank Magna MasterCard. Promotion runs until January 15th, 2023. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Visit MagnaRewards.com for more details. Approved by the NLCB.
My brothers and sisters of the People's National Movement, we ask for your kind support for Ronald Boynes as our next political leader of this, our great party. Vote for a man of purpose, a man of vision, a man that will support you, the members of our great party, on the 26th and 27th of November, and again on the 4th of December. Vote for Ronald Boynes. Vote for respect. Vote for empowerment. Vote for growth. Great is the PNM, and it shall prevail.
Want to furnish your home in style? Stylus Furniture makes this possible. Shop using our affordable layaway options to purchase any of our modern sectionals, dining, living room, or bedroom sets, and receive a dinner voucher for 2 at Ateliers Restaurant and Lounge. For further information, contact us at 652-2542, 652-2688, and 790-1202. You can also visit any of our branches located at 101 Crackness Village, Princestown, and 51 Rushwood Street in San Fernando. Stylus Furniture, for the style in you.
91.9 is counting down 91 days of Christmas. Yes, 91 days of Christmas. It's karaoke, prizes to be won, giveaways. It's the 91 days of Christmas on the street. 919 FM.
I could sing a good serenade. Oh, it's Christmas.
Join Pastor Kelvin Heinerine and friends for The Way, The Truth, The Life Radio Ministry, a Church of God ministry, live on the street 919 FM from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. This and every Sunday on the street 919 FM. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me. John chapter 14, verse 6. For further information, contact 686-3845-349-5178 or 342-7303.
Introducing for the PNM internal election, the People's Champion.
Now it's time to vote Colonel John B. Don't make no mistake. Vote Kino Romeo. Vote the best you know. Vote Farai Hope, my side chairman for you and I. Only champions we voting and we have what to bring. Rondell Dunham and Sally and Hood the Princess. Christian Fleming, Alicia Speed Eilish. Vote for champions, you know you can't miss. Tell Dr. Rolly we've got it. Yes, we are champions, yes.
On November 26th and 27th and December 4th, vote in the PNM's internal elections. Put your X by the big trophy cup. Vote the People's Champions.
And that was a paid political announcement.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you for staying locked to the Street 919 FM. So I'll just take another 5 minutes of your time. We're talking live sports since the former minister who was in charge of the program wants to play he absolving himself and give you the impression that all of the claims, all of the allegations of fraud and misconduct that took place under that program, that all of that was just machinations of the PNM and Keith Rowley. It wasn't true. I continue. This is Mr. Jack Warner reading. I'm reading here from Hansard, right? Mr. Jack Warner, on the day that the motion of censure was raised against Anil Roberts. He goes on to say, Madam Deputy Speaker, I want to tell you, Madam Deputy Speaker, about when, you know, any company that is for the Ministry of Finance and the Economy, about VAT. What it says about VAT, it says individuals or businesses that sell goods or services worth 200,000 or more in a 12-month period must register for VAT. Individuals and businesses must also register if they forecast sales of TT 200 or more in a 12-month period. Right? So he goes on to talk about. Let me see. He says, Madam Speaker, Deputy Speaker, another company, another overnight millionaire. Let us take a fella called DC 10 Rentals. He goes on to say, and Donacock says, right, all right, forget that. To go fast, he says, so DC 10 Rentals, according to Mr. Warner, is charging the government for toilets, portable toilets for portable units and hand sinks, and he's charging them $105,000 a month. When you check with the authorized and registered tent rentals, up to last night we were checking with them. This same thing would have cost them $18,000 a month. Look at here. And this company is not registered. It is a sole trader. Everything is overbilled. Overbilling on everything. Everybody eating, Madam Deputy Speaker. How about another company called Richard's Marketing? That one got 1 month's work. Poor soul. They got 1 month's work, but for that 1 month's work, they were paid $48,500, no VAT, no tax. What did they do for this money? What did they do for this $48,500? Here what they did. Local community advertising. $13,200 to publish positive achievements of participants. $14,450 for site visits to various centers. $10,200 and data collection. $10,650. Eating from the trough. No problem at all, because you see, the fact is, monkey see, monkey do. And if you are in a sea of corruption, you do not, of course, feel it. McCain Enterprises for videotaping services for 10 live sports centers from May the 12th to May the 23rd. 10 cost $70,000. These are companies. He goes on, I come to one that is even sweeter, a company called Going All Out Event Planners. I will say it slowly again, Going All Out Event Planners. They say they do video and consultancy, another video. whole set of videotaping people, right? So one guy 92,000, another one guy 48,000, another one guy 70,000. Here's another one. And they charge for 3 months 286,000. No VAT shown on the invoice. Goes on to tell you where the address is located and who are the directors. He says, between now and then, I will show you how in 6 months they got $2 million. I will show you now. Look at here. I didn't sleep for the past few days. I work in. Look at here. 3 different addresses, Madam Deputy Speaker. Donna Cox says, all you have a conscience. One says, conscience, Madam Deputy Speaker. This entity is not a company but a business. And the principals of the company, and he goes on to name the individuals. Madam Deputy Speaker, the invoices here, the invoices I have here show that they collected this money for consultancy, 28,000 by 28,000 by 28,000 by 28,000 and so on. And the last one is for 90,000, 2 at 90,000, and the balance of 28,700. In 3 months, you know, amounted to 286,300. Don't forget this name, and he goes on to mention the name. Another new company to benefit from this overnight success is one called Dustbin Divers Maintenance Crew Limited. Dustbin Divers Maintenance Crew Limited, Madam Deputy Speaker. Crosstalk. This was registered on the 1st of May 2013. Madam Deputy Speaker, listen good. This company's letterhead also had a PO box and he names the address. Same as the previous company that I mentioned. So Dustbin Divers has the same address as Going All Out Limited. Madam Deputy Speaker, the principals of this company are also, and he names the individuals, the same partners of Going Out. And what did they get, Madam Deputy Speaker? What did this company get? Well, let me talk slowly for the record. Dustbin Divers invoice Live Sport $155,182 a reimbursement for transport fees for 1 day. 1 day, Madam Deputy Speaker. That is May the 26th. It said it took participants to the Atto Bolden Stadium. So for 1 day transport, $155,182.50. No bill, no accounting, no evidence. 1 day, Madam Deputy Speaker. And I tell you again, do not forget that Dustbin Divers is the same thing as Going All Out Partners, because I will tell you something. You have 2 more coming, and all are the same thing. Madam Deputy Speaker, the same Dustbin Divers crew, besides doing transportation, they are also doing electrical work for Live Sport. Madam Deputy Speaker, they were given a contract for $369,000 to refurbish, upgrade, and service electricals at the 16 Live Sport centers. So this company had to service, upgrade, and refurbish electricals, and he gives the list of places. He goes on. This company has been given 12 centers to upgrade, and they were paid $197,000. The check for all of this were made out to, and he names the individual. He continues. Madam Deputy Speaker, 3 companies, Hard Hat, Dustbin Divers, and Raising the Bar, got 40 out of 56 packages to do plumbing work in the program. Out of a total of $961,000 of plumbing works, these 3 companies got $764,000. And you telling me this is fair? This is right? This cannot be. This cannot be. All I tell you, God knows, God moves in mysterious ways, because I will tell you something. I know why he put me here. I know why he put me here. I could not stomach it, Madam Deputy Speaker. Let me just give you all a few more. He goes on to say, Madam Deputy Speaker, there are scope of work. There are 11 cleaning outfit companies. All their invoices are the same, fudged. All the scope of works are the same scope of works. In fact, I will give you just a few examples. They have a company called Farm Business Solutions in Egypt Village, Point Fortin. They got 3 centers. They left. Right, so they got 3 centers. Egypt Village, Point Fortin, they got 3 centers, La Romaine, Morva, and Laventil. They left Egypt Village, Point Fortin, to go Morva, Laventil, and to clean that for 1 day, just 1 day, Madam Deputy Speaker, they got $135,000. To clean the center for 1 day, $45,000. To clean it for 1 day, $45,000 by $45,000. Listen to this one, 21st Century Construction. He gives the address. Company formed on July 3rd, 2013. They got 3 centers to complete, Bagatelle, Cedros, and Los Bajos. 1 day, $135,000. Another one, I ain't finished yet. I have 2 more to give you. Listen good. They have a company called Cardian Construction and Property Management. This company is in Scarborough, Tobago. This company was given 3 centers to clean in Carapo, Pinto Road, and La Joqueta. Mr. Dale Singh says from Tobago. Warner says yes, from Tobago. They jump on a plane, come to Carapo and Pinto and La Joqueta. They clean there and went back home to Tobago in 1 day. $135,000. Yes. Madam Deputy Speaker, for field maintenance to cut 26 fields in 1 month, $1.9 million. Again, scope of works in all of the fields is identical. What is even worse, the size of But you're bright. He's talking to Donna Cox here. The size of the ground, all of them is the same thing. All the grounds are 700 square meters, every single ground. It is unbelievable. The same ball patch of grass is on each of the 26 grounds, no different. God knows why he has me here. And Mr. Warner goes on to continue. It's a lengthy thing to read. And probably I'll revisit this on another day. Right? Where they spent $56 million on catering. Yes, $56 million on catering in the space of about, 18 months? So out of a budget of $400 million, $56 million went to catering alone. Yes. Don't worry. I will revisit this, but in the interest of time, because I need to open the lines for you all to have your say. So that when you listen to Anil Roberts, and let me see if I could get this here, right? I'm trying to see how many times, right? 7,900 views, 93 comments. I want to see how many times this was shared. How many times? I can't see it here. Okay. That's what I want to see, because you have people sharing this nonsense, right? And that is my concern. Let's see here. And I'm not seeing how many times it's shared. But anyway, the point I want to make to my colleagues who are contesting the position of social media officer, it is all well and good to promote the party. Yes, fantastic, wonderful. Spread the gospel, the good news of the party. But you see stuff like this? You see things like this? Where you have this man lying all over the place, and 7,900 people have viewed it in the space of, 7 days, 1 week? Yeah, and when you read some of the comments, get them, Anil. Get them. Yes. All of them, yes. Jam Rowley. The rest of comments. Let me see what they have here. Let me see if I can pull up some of this, because I need to open the lines. Real truth people. Navin Ramkilawan. Them PNM people, wicked, yes. The mental shackles, deeply rooted. Next one goes on to say, only in Trinidad, politician steals money and gives it to his friends, hired on a hitman to kill. Right, well, all right, that one realized. Hires a hitman to kill his girlfriend's lover and then get on the internet and act like he did. Nothing wrong. That's right, UNC sees nothing wrong with that. Right? But anyway, let me open the lines. 342-008-1466539. I figure I'll return to this sometime during the week. Let's see who we have here. Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry. Afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, my dearie. How are you doing?
I am very good.
Dominique, listening to you. You see Anna Roberts and them, I just call them flush. Dominique, you know, my friend, Ruth Marshall is my friend, you know. Of course. Of course, she used to live in the Pity Valley. She had to run with her husband. I'm telling you, I know her very good. That's my girl.
Yes.
You hear what I'm telling you about? Anna Roberts and them. You see Anna Roberts? You see this Anna Roberts? This dirty tongue man? It's all I can say is woe be unto them. You hear I'm telling you about? Woe be unto them I'm telling you about. And it continue to be spreading Dr. Rowley name every goddamn day.
Yes.
You understand me? I didn't know who on hell on earth tell Anna Roberts, keep Christopher Rowley at when he continued spreading him and oh Jesus God. But I'll tell you one thing. Anna Roberts, you can't step in Kid Christopher Rowley's shoes. You know what I'm telling you about? You cannot. You just continue and you upside down leader. I see that David Lee asking me when she come back to be the Prime Minister in Trinidad and Tobago to put some special investigation in Paria. Dominique, I wait to see. Here, I ain't going nothing with the Paria yet. I'm waiting to see what I'm telling you about.
Yes.
I'm just waiting. But Dominique.
Yes, ma'am.
Everything all right with you?
All is well.
Well, as I said to you, I haven't gone vote yet, and I really wanted to go. It's so much rain.
Yes.
But if I don't go today, you know, your surety, I will be voting very early on Sunday morning once I've health and strength.
Yes.
And as I tell you, you are getting my vote.
Thank you.
But I am giving you my vote, honestly, because I want to recognize young people. We got to recognize the young people. You know what I'm telling you about?
Yes.
Because every day we getting older, and apparently, like a lot of elderly YC contesting, I find they could rock back.
Mm-hmm.
And let younger people take forward. And okay, my mind, you know, Dominique.
That's right.
But
nothing wrong with
I
that.
am telling you, you will be getting my support. And you know, I can't forget my member of parliament for David Martin West at all.
Yes.
My boy voted yesterday already, you know, you something. Anyhow, Dominique, have a good one, my dearie.
You too. Thank you. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
To the next social media officer, I claim in it. You understand?
Nice.
I am claiming it, Mr. Romain. Right. Now, Anna Roberts needs to, according to Munilal, he needs to hush his stink mouth. Right? Because he, right, have Carapo, how it is. He and the former chairman for Tulipuna Piako Regional Corporation. It's them have Carapo how it is today. You understand? So don't come now and make it look as if it's Dr. Rowley and the PNM and Stuart Young, according to you say small pin, and on all these ministers and them bringing out frivolous lies to the population. Or they fully well knew that this lies spot had real corruption in it. Not to say that, Dominic, they knew that. And then the honorable misleader come out in parliament and say what? Go and claim him and come back. But you had the audacity to come and tell people, right, that the government is don't care about the young people in this country. But now, according to me, woe be until to hear this thing about now. You understand? Dominic, no, and I think as much as I love Kwesi Robinson, right, he needs to join hands with you, Dominic, to get all this information out in the public, because as I say yesterday, over 7,000 people view this foolishness. And they're going to run with it and they're going to believe it. You understand? Like, for example, you see how yesterday they had the election today?
Yes.
Today they had some press conference, right? So they come to brainwash the people today, and then now when you come and you debunk these stupidness with the saying, they come tomorrow night again.
Yeah.
With the foolishness. And then you come and be bunked on Tuesday, and they come in Wednesday. So it's a topsy-turvy. They want to imply in the country with people that, hey, here what now? We ain't going on so let me continue pressing all with propaganda. So the gullible are going to swallow it. But then, Dominic, as I say, come December the 5th, you are going to be my social media officer. You understand? And I want Kwesi to know, despite what, get in contact with this man and all let me work together to make a difference on social media. Dominic, I locked on and I'm listening.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon.
Morning, Dominic.
Hey, Manu.
Good afternoon, Dominic. Yeah. Well, let me see. I don't know how these people are not in jail yet. Keeping them back there. Like there's some kind of squares or some kind of things that we're keeping them from jail. All these mischief these people make with the state money. And people know it's fact. They self know it's fact and they're not in jail yet, boy. After the judges and these people watching these things. Just because of a little error, a man make something or they put them in jail, or they know that they do these things, stealing people money, have the country under pressure for about 2-3 years, only thief all the money. I could say thief because it's thief. Yes. I don't know why they're not in prisoners yet. And if I, next 2-3 years, come here to have in the ring as a prime minister, or they're going to jail because it's not a job to do, or they're going to jail, Anil, let me tell you something. This thing is done with you yet, you know. Or you're going to jail, you know. And I live in close by there. I don't have some orange tree plant already and some big green. So when orange you are planting green figure cause I wouldn't just get ripe fig and ripe orange in jail. All you must go to jail because all they did the country wrong. They try and beg all your Christmas coming out, give somebody something and say nothing about it. Dominic, enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
And Nabi Sauce and Zina. Morning.
And then they have the audacity to ask why it is that when the PNM in power, crime does go up. Because the PNM ain't doing this. The PNM not feeding the criminals in the way that you all did, the white-collar criminals, as well as, all right, millions, $105,000 a day to rent, a month to rent tent and toilet. That's all right. Anyway. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon.
Dominic, I get through. Good afternoon again, sir.
Yes, sir.
Living in the part, you know where I live in? Barford. I live in the part of Kamla Pasat constituency.
Yes.
I go to Greater PNM and Greater Dr. Rowley, right?
Yeah.
So, wherever come out of a pandemic, boy. When I'm boy, 2 years I had time, boy. 2 years, not hard time really, but the boss, my Prime Minister, Dr. Rowley, bring me out of the pandemic, boy. You know they want to blame the weather on the PNM, boy, where oh God, man. Have mercy, man. This Dr. Rowley too much. Dominic, I born 1958. And who was my Prime Minister from 1958 to 1980? Was in the boss, boy. Dr. Eustace Williams always been up here, man. But the area I live in, I just stayed there, boy.
Yeah.
There, I just stayed, boy, So, Dominic, I hope Mr. Barata, we are calling. Dominic, you is my Minister of Finance, right? Yeah, that's
thinking that.
Yes. So have a good afternoon, sir. Enjoy the evening, no matter the rain and the flood and things. But Jesus will save us.
Yes.
Thank you very much for taking my call, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dominic.
Yes, sir.
Well, Anil Robert said he wasn't involved in life sport. Dr. Rowley said he wasn't involved in landed. So what's going on? This other lady, she wasn't involved in deposit gate. Wari wasn't involved in the transaction with the Porsche. Edmond Dillon wasn't, he wasn't involved in the abuse trying to take away a man's property and traveling on taxpayers' expense to go to New York under the pretense he's doing national security work and attending court for some kind of matter.
Right.
So all these people, nobody will be involved in nothing. And why do you talk now on Anna Roberts from 2015 to now, Dominic? Let's see what's going on in this country where everything mash up. What the bandits are doing, look what the weather doing. All the roads collapsing, everything happening, home invasion.
Right.
People can't get food to eat. People sponsored in this country. You see what's going on? Even God against the PNM too. You see what's going on? With all this adverse weather, we having all bridges collapsing, roadways collapsing.
Only in Trinidad.
Dominic,
only in Trinidad, right?
With the PNM. Rowley had to go and take a bush bath.
Only in Trinidad.
You have to go and take a bush bath. Think you're going nice at all at all. Have a good afternoon.
You too, sir. Right. Well, let's see the nonsense that we had up with. So God against the PNM. It was only in Trinidad that happened. No. Yeah. Rain was only in Trinidad, rain falling. Right. Okay. They're falling nowhere else. And Central? Look. Anyway, I just came from a developed country, right? One of the most developed countries in the world. And I told you all, I think it was Tuesday, I driving on the road. I say, but like what's up past through here, right? I reached back home and I didn't know. Big potholes. On a road that is akin to our highway. Big potholes, right? And they have all the money. They could print the money. Big pothole. But all they have an issue with the government that don't have money. And when the government try to do it, all they have an issue with that too. They say they're going to borrow money to fix it, all they have problems with that. So rain falling, the earth is saturated. We see what is happening. You go blame the government for that too. Yeah, because of why? Poor road maintenance. Yeah, because of poor road maintenance. It had nothing to do with the rain falling. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dominic.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to all their listeners. And you know, I wouldn't take Central seriously because, you know, the whole question of moral authority, moral fabric, and it will go down in history when you think about why Mr. Robinson said because of moral and spiritual value, Mr. Pandey couldn't be re-elected. And, you know, I could imagine what he would have said had he had a choice between Dr. Rowley and Kamla Prasad Bisasa. And I keep telling people, if
hi, Dominic.
Happen on that from 10 to 15, where these people, listen, Dominic, I listen to you today, and it pains me, you know why? When I see people making videos and think, not paying attention to climate change, the impact it have on us here, and one thing with Trinis, what happened outside, here we must not experience it at all, you know. It have no potholes in other countries outside, you know.
Yes.
That's the problem. I tell you, our country, the people are so ungrateful. But let me deal with Anna Roberts. Anna Roberts want to make people feel that the whole question, the essence of taking care of black people is what he had in life sports. And you know, I listen, and the man don't know about vicarious responsibility. Because if you're in a ministry, and you know that you could siphon money, so to speak, to a ministry that you create through just cabinet approval, why do you want to blame the PS? Why would you want a minister like that? These people are very, very dangerous. And what makes it nasty is that he's taking pride in Kamla Prasad hiring people, and within a 10-day period, you hire 10, you have to fire 5. And they feeling as though, listen, this is real, the way leadership should happen. And I keep telling Trinis and Tobagonians that they don't really check on how much people you're firing. They check on your quality of your hiring practice. So these people are always in the negative. My thing is, it's so hurtful that we have to stomach the likes of Anil Roberts, the likes of Saddam Hussein, the likes of Kamla Prasad Bisasa, that we have to listen to because some fool have a right to vote. That's the problem we have, you know. Some fool who don't read, who don't understand, who believe that this, she looks good in yellow, let me vote for her, and don't know that in the parliament, her presence impacts on every citizen because of her inability to vote yes. And when I sit down there, displays the whole audit report to know fully well the fool end up more or less winning a case earlier on because of disclosure. And people don't understand that. Let me end. By the way, Dominic, we're now coming from the voting in Princeton.
Yes.
And yes, we did it. We did it.
Excellent.
My wife and I did it. You know? That's the love. But to end, all the best, brother. And Trinidad and Tobago, pay attention to those people who you should not elect. I'm not telling you, you know, because all they have is a right to speak because people have a right to vote. But the moral authority, they don't have it to speak to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, brother, and all the best.
Thank you, sir. Let me just read a comment here from one of our listeners. Morning again, Nicole. Says, if you see the middle of 5th Avenue in New York City, and for those of us who visited New York, if you know 5th Avenue, it's Trump Tower is down on 5th Avenue, right? Yes, that is one of the big short streets in Manhattan. A big pothole, and somebody put 2 tires in it so that people wouldn't mash up their wheels. Since 2021, it's so on it to fix it. Yeah, that's Central. 5th Avenue, Manhattan. Yeah, big pothole. Then fix it. But when you're in Trinidad, God against the PNM. All right. When Mrs. Prasad Bisasa had on the Louis Vuitton boots and she was traveling in a canoe that was in ankle high water, yeah, that the PNM was in power then, and look. Hello, good morning. Good afternoon, sorry.
Hi, good afternoon, Dominic.
Hey, Jen, afternoon.
Good afternoon to all the callers and listeners on 91.9. I, too, would have just braved the weather and went out and did my duty at Tranquility Primary School.
Yes.
And when I went, probably for that time, I was the 93rd person, and people are coming in still. So people are braving the weather and coming out there. And you know, of course, my choice was social media officer,
yes,
amongst others that I would have spoken about before. The gentleman who spoke about God, who only God could, even God against Dr. Rowley, I want to ask him, which God he talking about? Give me the name of the God now, because you know it have plenty gods, right? Give me the name of the God, because in that same token, I could say only AA could save Kamla. We could say that, right? So when you're throwing talk and whatever, we could always respond. And that, again, is the importance of a social media officer. It's not just simply to tell all what the government has done. It's also to be coordinated to the people on the ground, so that we on the ground could get the information, so that we could dispel all the rumors, we could dispel the disinformation that is out there. That is what we want. It's not office to sit behind and just show what is happening with the PNM. We know that too, and we want to see that. However, we also want the information so that we will be well equipped to respond in a logical way, in a factual way, to all the detractors. I want to also say the Met Office need to tell the country about the amount of rainfall, because that has an impact in the saturation and the flooding also. Because if a certain amount of inches of rain would have fall, and that continue 3, 4, 5 days continuously, it means to say the earth is not getting enough time to drain off. So no matter how much drainage you have, no matter how much good roads you have, all that, it will be impacted because of the rainfall. That also plays an important part. So when they're talking, they need to understand that it's factors, and then we have climate change. Even though Kamala Prasad-Bissessar would have screamed at the, like if it's foolishness, and all over the world speaking about it. I want to end by saying the reason why people like Ishmael could talk the way that others talk is because it has some African people, let's call them empty can now, will stand up and agree with that. Because he is saying, we all know the challenges that BTAM has, so that is unknown. But you're saying they have all these challenges happening, the thief card, do this, do that, and what they're celebrating one person for. You're supposed to be saying, Incha and Ishmael, that people are supposed to look at Kareem Marcel in BTAM as a role model to come out of life of crime based on how you're talking. Instead of that, you come to tell we celebrating one lawyer, but in Bamboo, it have plenty lawyer and doctor come out from there. I want to ask a question. I know that BTAM Gardens, it had Tongue and Country approval to build that. I want to know if Bamboo had Tongue and Country approval to build down there. I want to know what people associated Bamboo with thief car, asking questions. Because you see, they like to talk here and they don't like to talk here. Because just recently when it had the devastating fire down there, it had no insurance because apparently nothing down there insured because there wasn't for no commercial business and all that. So when I want to talk about BTAM doing illegal things, I ask a question. Is Bamboo also doing illegal things? And we will celebrate whether it's 1, 2, 3. We will celebrate African children doing well, especially coming out of the communities that you all would have labeled as depressed and crime at a risk. You know why? We need to show that we have plenty good things coming out. And as I said before, Kareem Marcel is not the only academic and intellectual come out of BTAM Gardens of recent and even before. He's the first lawyer, but we have Dr. Pope, who during the COVID-19 was the administering vaccine and all that. We have Ajamu Crosby, who is a mechanical engineer and author. We have Isaiah Phillips, and I could go on and on, but they were celebrating Kareem family. I don't know whether hurting them, so it was his family and friends celebrating the first lawyer coming out of BTAM. But is it because when he went on TTT for the interview that the esteemed Attorney General came in on the interview and presented him with a book that was autographed by Hugh Wooden, because both of them would have gone Hugh Wooden together? Is that what they're having a problem with? Is it the fact that they have Kareem on the front page? Is it the fact that they see an African family, friends, come out in the numbers and celebrated one of their own coming out? Or is it, because I was there, is it the fact that this year, out of the 40-something people who passed the bar, because I with them carrying it, because they tried to tell me it's Bamboo against BTAM with intellect. So is it because on that Friday, out of the 40-something people who come out and who pass the bar, a large percentage were people of African descent are just asking. So instead of ancient stand up there to ask what we're celebrating, he should be saying we should celebrate because of the fact that all the things he says negative about BTAM, and he should elevate Kareem Marcel and tell the young ones. But it's not about that. And you know why they don't get away with them thing, Dominic? Because they don't have a good response for them. That's why I'm saying, with you as the social media officer, I don't care what they say, we will be able to have a chance to put the information out there, the facts out there, so that anybody talk ill about our community and not trying to build our community and trying to divide it. We will put the facts out there because all of us have to live here together, whether Indian, African or not. And no Indian in this country, none, will stand up and talk about the brighter than me, because that in itself is racism. Because you're trying to say your race is superior to ours. It's not about that. We celebrate all we children. And the African community, who they call the press community, who they call the PNM community, we know why they do nothing for them. When the children do good, we will celebrate them. Because when they do bad and all in the papers, people just run them out on them. So we will continue to celebrate Curry Marcel, all the intellectuals that come out as serious, beat them anywhere they come out from. We will do it as a people, and nobody will tell us what we're doing. It is foolishness, or we aim for nothing like that. I just have to say that I'm a damn vexed about it, because you know, I'm not hearing nobody talking about it. Because if it was an African who did own a radio station or a TV station, they say what Ishmael said today, it would have had to close down in the morning. But you know what? This is how this country has rolled. So people, go out, brave the weather and go out, you know. Make sure they put the right person in the right places in this internal election, you know. Because this is it, you know. This is it. You all be safe, be blessed. I go.
Thank you, Jenny. Yeah, so I saw Mr. Ishmael's response. Well, his response to the backlash that he got for the first video that he put out. And on my way down, I saw it. Yeah, but I'll deal with that on Tuesday. Yeah, don't worry. Brian, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Romain.
Good afternoon.
And your listeners and callers of 91.9. It just goes to show you, Dominic, that there are people who will use whatever media they have, whatever the position they have, to segregate, to put a line in the middle of this country between the major races of this country. There's a reason. You think he couldn't come out and use his station to say something good, to congratulate the young man? Huh? Under this situation by which he may have been brought up, that he raised himself up and he bore fruit as to exactly. He was well taught, he was well nurtured by his parents, and today they can celebrate him. Is there anything wrong with that? Can't you celebrate along with the entire country, with the residents and the people of Bitham? Can't you do that? What did they do wrong? What did this young man do wrong? That you had to come and say, so what? It's a plenty doctor and lawyer come out of bamboo. Eh? If that is the case, well, how come bamboo is such a deplorable state? And every time rain drizzle, all you can't fix it? There's so much learned people that all you have living there, all you can't fix it? No, all you can't pay for insurance? If we have so many people, doctors and attorneys and so on come out of there, how come all you can't chip up some money and put out insurance and help all yourself? Rather than say, well, I know the government ain't going to help me. Why they couldn't say that? It's poor. But this is what these people like Douglas Laya and them and Ancient Ishmael and them will look to divide and segregate this country. That is why you, Dominic, have a lot of... I say it, you know, not only... When I say you, I don't mean you alone. I mean all of us have work to do. You understand? Because we have to put these things like Jenny did out in the public domain so people will understand what is being said. You have your dumb partner from Central always calling you to compare. Why you not talk about what's going on in Pakistan? What caused all that flooding in Pakistan? That today they can't catch themselves. What caused all that flooding in India? What caused all that dryness in other countries that they can't get food to eat? Or they must watch Al Jazeera News and you will see it. They're catching this royal tail in Pakistan up to today with the water issue. Not only that, there are political issues with Imran Khan. They wanted to assassinate him just recently, up to just yesterday. There was protestation. They ain't talking about that. No, everything good. How about Sri Lanka? That's right, they're trying to get themselves in order so they could go and beg the IMF for a little money. What about them? They ain't talking about them. Everything good there too, not so? Yes, everything good there too. It's only in Trinidad thing to be good. You understand? They want to hone in on Trinidad and Tobago. But you don't want to watch around the world to see exactly what's going on, how bad it is outside there. You understand? And they want to blame this government for everything. They want the government to go and fix the road when rain falling every single day. Then they go, come just now on board. Hey, here what's going on. You know, we got to get money for all the clubs going through. We got to get money for that. And salary will go from $9 for a little 2-3 bundle, 2-3 stem, to about $15 because Christmas coming. And they go still say they want help from the government. They go still say the government is helping them. And nobody is trying to help themselves and putting things. I had to listen to this next one from Sawa Barataria this morning on YouTube talking about stupidness. I want to blame the government for the incessant rainfall in this country. This little boy, he is really, he's not singing for his supper, you know, he's sucking for his supper. Sorry for saying that on your radio station. What is what he's doing? He is as dumb as they come. But I want to tell you something about Douglaya, because even after all what you said this morning, Dominic, you could recall Kamla Prasad Bisesat at the time did not fire, what's his name, Douglaya. She didn't fire him. But there was a lot of protestation about it all over the place. But you know when she did it? When they know what it did happen, he didn't resign. He was pressured up and she had no choice but to act. But you know when he did it? He did it within the final year of the election. And when I believe when that happens, I could be wrong, but when you admit there's a vacancy in an electoral area, you could go through without bringing in somebody else. You don't need, in other words, there's no need to have a by-election then until after the election, the general election is held. That is why she waited, and she waited, and she waited, and she sucked up the pressure. And then eventually when she realized, okay, less than a year to go, I'll get rid of him. You understand? So for he to come now and say how, oh, he resigned forthwith and he this and he that, he didn't. He's a liar. I am saying so. And I could remember there was a young man who came on the television and said, well, but I got a check. I ain't do nothing for it. All I had to do, they tell me, go change it and bring back some for them. I can remember that. And I want him to come out and say all the people who benefited, call the names of all the youths who benefited from this $400 million. All these fly-by-night countries businesses you call up there, Dominic, people coming, leaving Tobago to come to Trinidad to clean toilet to go back next day or same day.
Yes.
Again, that kind of money. I'm talking about it, no corruption there. It's stupid. We're stupid or it's just dumb. Them people who's balling, yeah, get them. And they just turning a blind eye to the corruption that took place with live sport. Total corruption. You understand? But you see, we need you, Dominic. We need you to highlight these things so that all of us will be better off for it. And do not be fooled. People of Trinidad and Tobago know exactly what's going on. And I am confident, Dominic, that you will be the next social media officer. I thank you very much. Have a good day and best of luck.
Thank you, Brian. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, my dear Dominic.
Hi, Carol.
And good afternoon to all the listeners and everybody. Well said. My boy from South and also Jenny, right? They have hit the needle on the head. Okay, so that's the nail on the head. Dominic, you are the man for the job.
Thank you.
Now, a social media officer is to inform and educate, right? Not just to highlight, well, I open a community center here or give out how much grant here. No, you have to debunk the lies, the innuendos. You must respond. You have to respond. That is what an effective social media officer will do. Because many of us, we are very gullible. We don't do research. We don't read. Apparently, it seems so to me, I could be wrong. We don't know what is going on the outside world. Because you can have a man come and tell you about the rainfall in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean. Is Dr. Rowley responsible for that? My God, what an idiot. What an idiot.
Oh, go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, don't they know about climate change? Don't they know, and as one person said, the Met Office must give the rainfall, the level of the rainfall and so on, and inform us more about that and how it's impacting upon the earth, the soil and everything, which will contribute to flooding. But to say you want to blame, well, this man had more powers than you know, Dominic.
It seems so.
Dr. Rowley has more powers than you know. That he could, bring on rain. He could tell maybe when the rain to come and when the sun to shine and what have you, when the stars to come out of the moon. My God, what powers you have put on him. Anyway, so you are to bring out, and you see that life spot that have a woman who was just doing her job, had to run for her life, who a man was murdered in his home, and you want to tell me you coming out to fool the people with lies? Somebody like Dominic now, bring out the information. You take it, get it from the Hansard. Right? You know, you have freedom of information. You could get it there and bring it out and let the people know. So when people have to make a decision, it will be an informed decision, because your role is to inform and to educate. So Dominic, I say, putting anybody else is an injustice. You are the man, because you got great sacrifice. You are doing what you're doing because the other people have other jobs on their plate. They cannot effectively do what you do. You sacrifice and you're able to manage your time and come out with all the information to really help the people out here. Social media is the way to go. It impacts on people. People listen to it. As they say, we're gullible. They're running with it. So when you come out and you debunk, you will have people scratching and say, wait now, this man was lying to us, and think again. So my dear, blessings to you, and I see you bringing it home, man.
Thank you.
Understand? Okay, dear. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Carol. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
At 9 a.m. yesterday morning, I went and I did my part for Dr. Rowley, for you, and those who I consider
to
be eligible to be put in these sensitive positions. And pride of place must go to you as hopefully the person who will hold that position of social media officer. Because I'm not voting for anybody with TikTok and this and that and playing the fool and that kind of nonsense.
Right.
But because my mainstay in calling these programs is all about brevity, and giving as many people as possible a chance to get in.
Yes.
As I've told you before, I will just say make one parting comment. As disgusting as Robert is, to me, the issue is more about the person who has endorsed him and who has him in the Senate.
Correct.
In the Senate than about Robert himself. And it thinks that character could go the way of re-endorsing somebody who was forced to run from her cabinet because of corruption. And that is about it for me. So all the best to you, and I hope you get the job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, Dominic, I just want to tell the constituents of St. Anne's West Port of Spain North, those who have to vote at the Tranquility Primary School, there is transport available. So get in contact with those who you know in the constituency office or others. There is transport to take you to and fro, especially in these inclement weathers. So people utilize that also, please, and let us go out there and do what we need to do to make sure that there's a proper executive in place in the People's National Movement that can take us to the 2025 election, where we'll be more informed, more prepared, more organized to win that election convincingly, so that the PNM don't have to be in the parliament asking for a special majority. They will have enough seats in the parliament so that when the opposition, who we know will be the UNC, is there, that they will not distract or take away from the work that that the government has to do in the interest of all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, despite their race, their color, their creed, socioeconomic background, religious background, academic background. It will be for all races. So people, let's do it right. Let's get this done right. You know who is the man for the job we're talking about. Agon.
Thank you, Jen. Hello, good afternoon.
Dominic.
Yes, sir.
What a blessed day. And you know, I am saying it. God saying, just saying. If he send a blessing, there's no place to pray, Dominic.
Yes.
The amount of rainfall, it enough, no way for water to go. And people have to ride it out. Make sure that it's safe. Make sure that the water level in their property or in their area is under the waist. So everything has to be above the waist that they're trying to salvage it. But my point, Dominic, Saddam Hussein and the useless National Congress bring a bill to debate Friday. And you know, up to now, none of them say they're supporting the legislation in the parliament dealing with crime. That is the first. You don't come and tell me about this one get 20-something shots and the next one get and a 14-year-old die. No, we want to know why the bill, especially concerning the gun crime, why all ain't supporting it. That somebody who gets hold with a gun have to stay in prison for 120 days. This is what we want from the useless National Congress. All you make sure all you have substance to come and tell the population why all you want to debate crime, because all you're not supporting what this government have done for the last 7 years concerning crime. Thank you very much, Dominic.
Thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Dominic.
Greetings, sir.
Yes, good. I know your time is very limited, so I just want to congratulate all the callers, Carol, Jenny, Brian, my good friend, and the last caller there. But I want to just emphasize, I know you have enough time and the next time, how important it is to get the right person in the position for social media. In spite of what the weather was yesterday, I made the sacrifice and went out and vote for Dominic Romanian. I'm not hiding it for social media.
Yes.
Because Trinidad and Tobago going forward requires somebody with certain skills. These days is not old talk, you know. That are the skills to investigate and the skills to communicate it. And you have to have the forum. Some people not understanding that. Dominic Romain has a forum that you could tune in on a Sunday and you could hear it. You could tune in on it and you could hear it. That is important in communication. So I'm asking you all, I know the weather isn't good today. If you get a chance, do it. But if not on Sunday, on the 4th of December, make the sacrifice. It doesn't make sense. You're supporting the PNM and you don't have the right people in the right places. And one of the key positions going forward for this party that we love is the position of social media. And Dominic is not by himself. You hear the team there? We are satellites for Dominic. So let me close off my contribution by adding, if you think is one person in the post of Anil Roberts, Dominic has a whole cadre of people who will bust the information. Let me give you 3 more very quickly. You know, right now as we speak, sitting in Parliament, they have 3 of them with questions to answer. Don't talk about those outside, you know. We have 3 of them sitting with the opposition leader, call them out for you. That one close, quite recently, is David Lee. You know, he ought on a $1 million bill. He right in the Parliament now. Right in the Parliament. You know he ought on bail for? For trying to defraud the state of $1.4 million. And he right in Parliament talking about laws. Could you imagine that? Think of what I'm telling you. They have no moral authority. He's right there. And there are 2 more, you know. You have another one, County Central. You know, in 2018, he was dismissed by TSTT. Where the company lost over $3 million. He was fired by TSTT. We because the TSCD lost $3 million. And you know, he was hired by Kamala in 2020. And he's sitting down in the parliament now. And let me get the last one, you know. Well, this one is the favorite. High Court Judge Justice Abood says there is sufficient evidence for Dr. Munilal to answer a lawsuit which claims allegations of bribery and breach of fiduciary duties. Here the judge said, and I quoted that, the judge said that, it's not in inverted commas. The judge says that, in my opinion, that the judge talking of me, in my opinion, the case leans heavily towards fraud and conspiracy in the parliament, you know. You see no right there, come on, you know. So just stay tuned. Make sure you make the right choice. Because if you make the right choice, you'll have a team of people providing the rhythm section that is going to create the forum for the PNM to retain its power. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chance. An excellent way for us to enter today's program. Out of time, but not out of things to see. So join Sharon and Bruce again in the morning, Titans of Democracy. And God's willing, I will be with you on Tuesday morning. I think I will address that issue with Mr. Ishmael, because I on my way down this morning, I saw his response to the backlash of the first video that he posted. And, you know, how do I describe it? If was that term by wrong and strong was a person? We will deal with that on Tuesday. And we got to talk about Baraka grounds too, right? And what was the circumstances under which that piece of land was given to Mr. Ishmael and others, and what the structure that is going up on that now, and what we'll deal with that on Tuesday. So folks, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. If you have not yet gone out to vote, please go out and do so. If you are so inclined, notwithstanding the inclement weather, we ask you to please be careful on the nation's roads. Go out and do your duty, and of course you would still have an opportunity, a limited one nevertheless, to cast your ballot next Sunday. So, you know, at the convention. But if you could make it today, please do so. I am about to go do so right now. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I am out.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Want to furnish your home in style? Stylish Furniture makes this possible. Shop using our affordable layaway options to purchase any of our modern sectionals, dining, living room, or bedroom sets, and receive a dinner voucher for 2 at Atelier's Restaurant and Lounge. For further information, contact us at 652-2542, 652-2688, and 790-1202. You can also visit any of our branches located at 101 Crackness Village, Princestown, and 50